Hi everyone, welcome to another quick example wherein now we are going to look at the data stored in Snowflake, and instead of an Excel table, we're just going to give an elaborate prompt. But this time we're going to give a prompt wherein there are a lot of calculations involved. They're very simple calculations, but it's about matching two tables, merging data A with data B. It's about ad hoc inputs here and there, and then still stress testing whether the system is able to deliver things or not. So if you're not familiar with the interface, on the very left, you can see that the data source that is connected is only Snowflake. There's no files. I have already typed in the query. The variables and table of contents starts populating as the query is run. Now, broadly, I'm telling that, hey, we have an order table, and in that there are various products or SKUs, and I want you to like merge the two tables to basically see the average order weight. Then I want you to find the number of total orders, the number of orders above average weight and below average weight. And then out of the blue, I go in and say for orders where weight is less than 500 gram, go look at the invoice and find the average amount paid per order. Three very different calculations. Now, this prompt is elaborate, but we have already established that even with a smaller prompt, the system does exactly the same job. It's very accurate, and there are times where it has to ask a certain question. It will just come back and shoot you a prompt or like shoot you a question asking for more context. But here we are going to go and then press next. Now, as we are familiar with how the product works, it's going to go and then make a lot of observations and then write queries for it. It takes its own sweet time. As the tables start populating in, you will also start seeing SQL queries. And again, for those of you who are looking at it for the first time, all of these queries that you are seeing getting populated on the screen, they are 100% editable. In fact, we have examples that show how those queries get edited. Well, this looks like it's taking still some time. And okay, so we just saw that there was some average weight calculation. But what's particularly interesting for me when this is happening is I just keep thinking about how long is it going to take a real analyst if they were doing it, and it's insane. And it's done. So let's go back and look at the tables and the observations and everything it has done. So it's going and saying that the first step is to explore the tables available to identify the relevant column for analysis. Spot on. This is what a human being would do. The tables relevant seem to be this and this. We'll now look at the structure of these tables. Again, spot on. Then I'll proceed to check the column of each table to identify order identifiers and weights in the orders and SKU tables. Additionally, the invoice amounts in the invoice table, of course. So for the three variables that we have put in, it's trying to locate where these variables are. Then it's going and saying that this contains the column extern order number, SKU, and order quantity. Well, it's doing this to indicate the quantity of each product, of course. So next, I'll need to check the even product SKU master to identify the SKU along with its respective weights, right? Like so, now it writes a query and it keeps going on and on, right? Like these queries are 100% editable. We don't have to like necessarily look at all the observations. We can just skip a few. But essentially what's happening is now it's saying that hey, the average order weight has been calculated as approximately 713.52 grams. With average order weight known, we can now determine the number of total orders. To achieve this, we'll write a SQL query that categorizes each order based on whether its weight is above, below, or equal, of course. So this query is about the weight, and then it makes another observation saying that these many orders are above and under. And then the third part of our assignment, which was 500 grams, find the average order value from the invoice. So it's again going and looking at the billing amount for these orders. As you can see in observation 7 at the very top, it has written the SQL query, all looks good. And then we have identified a set of orders that weigh less than 500 grams, which can be referred by the name light orders. Wow. So it's also assigning a name. And then you see like it again writes a query for basically calculate the average. And here you go. It has found that the average amount paid per order weighing less than 500 gram is 80.04. Now, this is not very different from what you have already seen, but I'm just trying to throw more and more examples of what all is possible. This time we did not look at an Excel data. Instead, we looked at something that's lying in Snowflake in one of the tables. And I am more than happy to come and take up an example that you have in your mind, which I can demonstrate for you. Maybe I'll find a dummy data set. And if you have your data set, drop it in one of the comments or drop it to me anywhere and just say, Vikram, can you show the system doing the analysis for this particular bit? I'll be more than happy to create a video for that as well. But you see, the reason it is functioning so well is also because in the backend, there is a semantic mapping that has been done in. We have a semantic layer. We come and map business units to like one single source of truth, or let's say three, four sources of truth. So for every persona, for someone who's from marketing, the table has a certain value. And there are like whole bunch of mappings and operations and context that is given to the table. That is how the system knows whenever you ask a question, which column or which set of columns and which set of operations need to be performed. We believe with incoming newer models that will come across all the LLMs, you're going to see more and more analytical capabilities come in, and it would become a competitive advantage, or rather say it's a disadvantage if you're not using an LLM to do analysis, because it's going to massively save you cost, increase your team's efficiency. It's going to give you an answer. It's like you have your own personal AI agent or AI analysis agent, and that's just the starting point. It can sometimes even identify patterns which a human being would not. We are super excited about it, but again, this is all about feedback. Please let me know what you think of it. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you, and bye bye.